Hey, back again with another review. This time it is of Kill Katie Malone, starring Dean Cain, Superman himself from the 90s. Anyway, this film is a ghost story, and I like ghost stories, but I like them if they're done right. And sadly, in my mind, this wasn't. It's a fun movie. It's got a lot of stupidity in it. It's one of those films you'll laugh and you'll like, but you won't take it as a horror movie. What I mean by that is the fact that the ratings are R, but it should have been a PG-13. There isn't a lot of blood in it, which isn't needed in a ghost movie, and it's not really that scary. It's like watching an extended episode of bloody Are You Afraid of the Dark with Goosebumps. So, and they can be even scarier than this sometimes. Anyway, so the movie stars Stephen Colletti as Jim, Jonathan Lil J. McDaniel as Carl Dixie Cannon, Dean Cain as Robert, Nick Hogan, Hulk Hogan, the professional wrestler's son, Nick Hogan as Tyler, Cassandra Jean as Ellen, Fernando Romero as Misty, Sylvia Panache as Katie Malone, Katie Townsend as Amy, Alita Tooby as Megan, and so forth. So basically, the movie starts with Dean Cain's character Robert running in to say no to Megan, because Megan is trying to, what I think is destroy the box. Because she sets the lighter like this, and she's holding it and it goes out. And Dean Cain goes, no! And then he goes, please, she doesn't know what she's doing. And then you see her get pulled off, you see him get thrown across the room. And then we meet the three idiots of the film, Jim, Carl, and Ginger. Ginger played by Masala Lusha. I don't know. I've got to say her on the list. So they're going around. Basically, Jim's looking on the internet and he sees a ghost for sale. Not on eBay, on eBay. A lot of people in the reviews seem to say eBay, but it's eBay, which is basically eBay, but it's eBay. Get the name right. So anyway. So he's like, oh, look at this. And he's like, I'm going to bid on it. It goes up to $50 and he goes, oh, I got enough money. Please give me the money. Please give me the money. So they all chip in, basically. And he wins the box. You then see Dean Cain shipping the box. And you're like, Dean Cain is getting rid of a box. Could this have anything to do with the ghost? Now, we don't see the ghost at the beginning or in the middle. So the movie gets a bit stale, to be honest. So they get the box and Jim's obsessed with this girl. And it's obvious that Ginger's in love with him. And Carl's in love with Jim too. You know, man love. And you just sit there going, So the box turns up. They then open it. Basically, they ask 3 wishes. And Jim doesn't ask one, but Ginger asks for a rose. And Carl asks for money. Now, he doesn't ask for $1 billion. He doesn't ask for anything like that. They never do in these movies. And basically, later on, he's got the money and she's got the rose. And there's this little locket inside, which has a picture of a girl in, basically. So through the movie, you kind of get to meet some other characters like Misty and Ellen and Tyler, who's played by Nick Hogan. I keep getting his name mixed up with the name Trent, so excuse me for that if I stumble on it trying to think of it. So basically, there's a bit where Jim basically goes to help the girl he's madly in love with, and her boyfriend, played by Nick Hogan, Tyler, goes on and threatens him. Well, he leaves, and on his way, he sees this little girl run across the street in old Victorian clothing. So, I'm guessing it's Victorian. So, he gets his car and goes, are you okay? She goes, leave me alone. And he's like, are you okay? You shouldn't be able on your own. She goes, leave me alone. So she starts screaming. And his body turns into basically ash. Basically goes and floats away. Really bad CGI, but it happens. And you're like, yay, no more Nick Hogan. Hate him. But not as much as Corey Feldman. Anyway, so Misty ends up getting her arm cut off. The ghost just grabs hold of her, basically gets her arm cut off and throws all these uphill back. But nobody seems to realise it's a ghost. They think they're just flying themselves across the room. So basically, there's a bit where Jim and Carl's room gets ransacked, and it's by the ghost. And on the thing it says something about, you know, for the family or die family or something. So he goes to get checked and he finds out what it says. He's like, ooh, I say. So later on through the movie, Jim and Ginger, they go out on a date. And you're a bit like this. Earlier in the movie, she said, I've been looking at that beautiful smile for so long, and it's never charmed me yet. And you're like, yeah, it has. And the woman who plays Ginger, Marcella Lucia, very, very beautiful. Especially with the ponytail bits there. Just want to go over and go, yeah, come on, bitch. Come on. Anyway. Oops. Anyway. So they go out on a date and they get back and they're like, we can't do this. And then they're all over each other. She goes in the bathroom. The ghost walks up to him and he goes, ah, and hides. And she thinks it's because he doesn't want to shag her. What I liked about this part of the movie was I liked how the ghost kind of popped out through the mirror and looked at her, and then when she turned around, it popped back in. This was the time where we actually finally got to see the ghost more. So basically, they're having their function, and the ghost is going wild, like in most teen horror movies. And basically, they run down, and then they end up in the courtyard, and in the basketball court. And Jim's on the phone. He gets a phone call from Amy, who's a goth, who says, you've got to sell the box on eBay. It's the only way to get rid of the ghost. And you're sitting there going, and then she goes, quick, list it on eBay. And you just sit there going, oh my word, is that the most they could think of? So he lists it on eBay, not eBay, so eBay. He lists it on eBay. And it sells, she buys it. But her card gets declined. And he goes, oh, well, you're messing with me. And she's like, no, I'll get another card, right? And his friends are being chased and he runs out there. And then when the ghost sells, she disappears and Amy's got her in the box. And she goes, I'm never going to let you out. Yeah, mate, I'm never going to let you out. I'm going to keep you in there forever. And then basically Dean Cain walks in as Robert and he accidentally goes to grab it off her and it falls on the floor and it's opened. And then you see their door shut. So I'm guessing it's supposed to be that she kills them. So the movie, in my view, was awful. It was fun, but it was awful. It was one of those films where you sit there and you're like, yep. Grab hold of somebody like this, up and down, break their bodies, done. Cut their arm off in class, wicked. Stick your head out for a glass mirror, cool. But you just sit there going, why was this rated R? When it's obvious that the movie's a PG-13. There's a great scene with the professor where the professor's getting scared. Professor Saldana. No, not Saldana, sorry. Professor Haskell says this. He goes, I know, I'm not scared, you know. You're not going to scare me. And then and bites the tongue off and dies. You're sitting there going, yeah, that's not too bad. But the movie's got that really cheap made feeling to it. It cost $3 million to make this movie. $3 million. Can you believe that? It cost $3 million and it felt like it only cost about $1 million. That's what it felt like. So I'm guessing Dean Cain cost a bit to hire. Because he was the only person in this movie that wasn't in it that much. I mean, he was in it at the beginning, he was in it in one scene, and he was in it at the end. It just felt like they kind of used him to kind of get more people to watch the movie. Now, if I'm correct, the guy Stephen Colletti who plays Jim, I think he was in One Tree Hill for it was in One Tree Hill for 57 episodes. So I knew him from there, but I won't call him a name like Dean Cain, obviously. The movie, what can I say about the movie? The movie it's good if you're a kid. If you like Goosebumps and you like Are You Afraid of the Dark and you're young, like I'm talking about like 10 or 12, this movie's right up your alley. Once you see like an 18 rated film, this film feels like nothing. Or I should say an R rated or unrated film. It's like nothing. Because you sit there and you go, yeah, that's not very scary. It's a little good thriller, I guess, but it's not scary at all. It's one of those films where you'll put it on, you'll watch it, and you'll go, okay, it wasn't a bad film. It wasn't awful. It just isn't a horror film. It's just not a horror film. It's just a ghost story that's not very interesting, you know. So I'd rate it a 2 out of 5 because there's a lot of fun moments in it, but they're far and few between. And I think one of the funniest concepts of the movie was the fact that how many people had bought this off of eBay and how many people had off eBay, and how many people had failed and cost people their lives. That's the funniest thing about the movie. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, send them on eBay. The ghost is going to be sold on eBay. So the acting was not that great. Dean Cain was terrible. I'm sitting there and they're like this. This is a bit of the acting, man. Oh no, you better not buy the box because the box is terrible. Ooh, yeah. So the acting was terrible. The women in it were very beautiful, which made a change which helped the movie go along, I guess. The chemistry between the characters, I didn't really believe it, to be honest. They were going on about their family, and I didn't feel like they were family. But it's a decent film. It's one of those films that if you got it for like I got for $1.99 on Blu-ray, it's not a bad movie. It's just one of those movies you expect to be terrible because you paid that much for it. So yeah, I recommend giving it a watch if you've got nothing else to watch and you're bored with this and you want to make fun of a bad film. Because this is one of those bad films which in some ways is good as well. So yeah, I'll give it 2 out of 5, guys. So that's 2010's Katie Malone, Kill Katie Malone. And yeah, so if you've seen it, let me know what you think of it. If you haven't, maybe watch it, maybe don't. But either way, let me know what you think. So as always, guys, thanks for watching and have a lovely, lovely day.